If you like our content, please like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get alerts when we introduce new videos. In this video, I'll demonstrate how to configure a guest access wireless LAN using a shared password with the CommScope Ruckus Unleashed user interface. By creating a guest wireless LAN, visitors to your organization can be allowed limited or unlimited access to your wireless network with configurable guest access policies. So from the dashboard, to create a guest WLAN, you would click on Wi-Fi Networks, and I would click on Create. I'm going to give my WLAN a name, and I'm going to call it Guest Shared Password WLAN, just so we can differentiate it. Next, we have the usage type. We got Standard, Guest Access, and Hotspot. So we're going to select Guest Access, and it says the guest access policies and access control will be applied. The onboarding portal, we can tick that if we want to enable zero IT. We're going to leave that off. Guest authentication, we have a few choices here. We can do guest pass and social login, or we could do social login only, or we could do none. I don't suggest using none. So in this example, we're going to use guest pass and social login. For guest password, we could use a unique password for each guest. And it says, please go to the following link to log in as a guest pass admin to create a unique password. So it gives us a URL for that. We're going to select a single shared guest pass among all guests, and then I can enter in a passcode for that. So I'll enter in a guest passcode of guest 1234. We don't suggest that you use something like this, but this is a demo. The grace period allows users to reconnect without re-authenticating. By default, it's 480 minutes, but we could adjust that. The authentication by default, it selects open. For encryption, we have a number of choices here. We could use WPA2. We could use WPA3, which is a newer encryption technology, or we could use a combination of both of these since some clients may not have a WPA3 encryption mechanism built in. So we'll select WPA2, then we can put in a password here, and we could show that password if we wanted to. And then the accounting server, if we had one, we could add one to that, and we could give it a name. It could be a radius accounting and so forth, but we're not going to do that. Then we could go to the advanced options, and here we have a whole lot of choices. For WAN priority, by default it's hide, but we could hide the SSID. We could give it a different access VLAN. Maximum clients, by default, is allow up to 100 clients per AP radio. We'll just keep that, but that could be ticked up or down. Service schedule is always on, but if you wanted to be specific, you could put in a time and date, let's say from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday if you wanted to do that. If you didn't want people driving into your parking lot at night using your Wi-Fi, we're going to use always on for this example. Access control, we have a number of options here. For per station uplink, it's disabled, but we could go through and select a uplink speed. We could also select a download speed if we wanted to. We're going to keep those disabled. We could put in access control, and if we wanted to tick application visibility, if we wanted to see this in our administration to see what applications were being used on this WLAN, we could tick that. And as an administrator, I would suggest doing that. We could do URL filtering, or we could do Wi-Fi calling. Radio control gives us a number of options. We could set up a walled garden, and we have a few other features over here. So then we'll click on next. So we can log in a number of ways. We can log in with social media logins, and if we use any of these social media accounts, we have to have configured a pre-account. So for example, with Facebook, and if I clicked on here to register, and it would take you to a Facebook Wi-Fi configuration. So you would have already had to configure a business page. So we're not going to use that. We're going to untick that one. And for Google or Google Plus, if you had your own client, you could use your own client ID for that. We're not going to tick that on this one. Same thing with LinkedIn, same thing with Microsoft, WeChat, and so forth. So we're going to untick those for now. I could enable guest pass self-service, and if I did that, and I'd have a number of items to fill out here. The duration, the sponsor approval, the max devices. So you can see there's a lot of options here, but we're going to untick that for now. User redirection URL. Once the user logs into this portal, where do we want them to go? So if we wanted to go to a specific website, which in most cases you would do that. So we'll just go ahead and redirect them to the CommScope website. Terms and conditions, if we wanted to show those, we could tick on that. And you notice that the screen at the bottom changes if I do that. So I'm going to untick that. We could insert a Wi-Fi for EU snippet if we wanted to tick that box. And then we scroll down. And so if I want to edit my portal login, for example, if I want to edit the background image, I could do that. I could click on that. I could use my own image if I wanted to. So I'm going to say use customize image. I could accept an image. Since I'm representing an art studio here, I could pop in an art picture. And we'll go ahead and do that. And that populates that, so it gives me an idea what that looks like. If I wanted to put in a welcome message, I could edit that. So let's say we wanted to put in welcome to the Wlan Art Studio. So we could type that in and we can click OK, and you notice that that comes up here. And then if we want to preview that, we could click on that. And this shows you what's going to happen after you connect to that WLAN. You're going to come to this welcome portal. You're going to connect to the Wi-Fi by using a guest pass, and then you're going to click on connect. Okay, so we're good to go for that. And then once we've made all of our selections, we would click on OK. Okay, now that we've created the WLAN, if we click on the summary box, it says that we have a total of 2 Wi-Fi networks. If I click on my guest shared password WLAN, I can go in there and I could create, I could edit, I could disable it, or I could delete that network. So now that we've created that, let's go ahead and put our client's hat on and log into that network. So I would go to my network settings, and here I see my guest shared password WLAN. I'm going to go ahead and connect to that. It says enter the network security key, and I'll click next. And that'll bring you to this logon page. So here we would put in our guest pass, then we click connect, and it says, welcome to the Wlan Art Studio. You are successfully authenticated. Then we click continue, and that redirects me to the URL that I had specified. And that's all you need to do to set up a guest access WLAN using a shared password with the Unleashed user interface.